Welcome to Two Across, the podcast where two friends catch up over a crossword from opposite sides. Well, normally from opposite sides of the Atlantic Ocean, but this week we are on opposite sides of, well, several oceans, I think, and a mountain range, certainly, and many, many, many other countries in between, because Rob is, well, he can tell you where he is. Over to you, Rob.
Yeah, I'm back in the former kingdom of Nepal for a couple of weeks, as we'd mentioned in previous podcasts. So yeah, I'm settled in now after about a week of being here and kind of getting used to the program. It's a big jet lag. Nepal has the curious fact of being 45 minutes offset, or 15 minutes if you would prefer. So for GMT, which would be part of our listeners, it's 5 hours and 45 minutes ahead. So it's that extra 45 minutes of jet lag just messes the body. It's used to doing hour leaps, but 45 minutes is very difficult. So
yeah, strange that there's that difference. My geography is not good enough to confirm whether there are oceans between us, but I assume there must be.
There are several seas. I don't know that there's an ocean, but there'd be several seas between the two of us at present. Yeah, I don't know what the straight line would be. I would imagine you'd maybe go over the Black Sea. I don't know if you'd go over the Caspian Sea. And then it'd be a lot of land, really, because, I mean, we're sort of northeast of India, perched atop.
I went to a pub quiz last week. Actually, not a pub quiz, a school fundraising quiz. So slightly different vibe to a pub quiz. But one of the questions was, can you name every country through which the equator passes, which showed up my geography for the risible state that it is in. I was unable to name more than about 4, even though we had an actual map of the world to look at to help us with this. But it's a tough question.
I think most of them would be in Africa.
Yeah, quite a few, including one that I'd never heard of before. And then the given is Ecuador, right? And then beyond that, you're sort of, it goes through the very top of Brazil, I think. And then, about 4 or 5 African countries, including 2 Congos, not just one.
Democratic Republic of, and then Congo Brazzaville, as the French call it, which I don't know what it's called in English.
Top marks, Rob. If only you were on our team. We lost by 2 points, so so that could have been crucial. But anyway, yes, geography not a strong point. And nor, it turns out, is the history of badminton. Because last week I made an absolute howler when I informed our listeners that badminton was invented in the French court. Which, of course, it was not. It was actually invented quite near where you are right now, Rob. It originated, well, I'm not exactly sure where in Asia, but I certainly know it was in India, because when the British colonized India, they of course also colonized the sport of badminton and then brought it over to England and to Badminton House, home these days of the famous horse trials, and that was where the sport sort of took root over here. Hence the name. So there you go. Yeah.
So it is not badminton. It is badminton.
No. I still think it should have originated in the French court, but it didn't. So anyway,
we need some revisionist history there. So I was talking to my daughter today, and she was talking about how Wikipedia moderation is improving, but in the past it had been more questionable. So I wonder if we could slip some things into the Wikipedia entry on badminton and change that to France. Just a couple of little adaptations.
Yeah. This could be the start of an underground badminton revisionist movement.
History is written by the victors, and
Indeed.
We are the victors of this one, or will be.
Look, you've got to have some kind of legacy in this world, and if that's ours, then so be it. Right, so I look. Which crossword are we doing this week, Rob?
That's a good question, and this is the part I edit out every week. when we realize that we haven't actually looked for the crossword yet, and we pretend that we didn't just both run to our recording space to begin this, because we're much more organized. Our producers actually were doing our makeup for the vodcast before this and our hair.
Yeah. Quite so.
So that's why we hadn't gotten the Guardian quick.
So I am, as always, attempting to circumvent the Guardian's. It's not a paywall. It's more of a kind of a beg wall where they ask you for.
It's a guilt wall.
A guilt wall. That's better. Yeah.
We've noticed that you've consumed 175,000 articles this year.
Without paying us a penny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Theo, I think we're 16,772.
72, eh? Okay. Got it. Got it.
So for savvy listeners, you can actually use that information to know the date that we recorded this.
That won't take Columbo to crack that one.
No.
I still use Columbo as a reference. Isn't that sad? Staple of my childhood. I should update it.
Miss Marple.
Miss Marple. Gotta love a bit of Marple.
Hercule Poirot. Yes.
Okay.
Could you tell that my mother watched a mystery on PBS on Sunday nights, and that was the only thing on the TV, so we watched it too.
Well, I do think there's a lot to be said for a childhood where you were forced to watch just what was on TV. It broadened one's horizons, you know?
It did. It forced you to commit to things, however strange they may be, such as Benny Hill, for instance.
Oh my goodness me. Wow. I mean, he would, these days, he would be cancelled so fast. The theme tune would just start up like, and then off air. Just absolutely.
Immediately.
Oh, that was a time to be alive.
This show is needlessly sexist.
I mean, it was about 90% him chasing women in their underwear. I mean, literally chasing them around fields whilst a comedy theme tune played in the background. That was basically the Benny Hill show.
Yeah, it all built up to that. You were all waiting for when the chase scene was going to occur, and there was some bottom pinching that often precipitated it, or God knows what.
Oh, innocent times. Innocent times.
They were just a more innocent age.
Yeah.
At least for the bottom pinchers.
Indeed. Right. Yeah. I'm going to start this going, and let's dive into it.
Okay. So where do we want to start, Theo? Start us off.
Okay. Well, one across is, wow, this is quite the start. So the clue is regard NATO mid-air. And then that says anagram in brackets. So it's an anagram of NATO mid-air, meaning regard.
I got it.
Oh, Rob, on fire this
Admiration.
week. That's just flawless crosswording. Well done, sir.
Sorry, the listeners would have been able to see the smug look on my face when I realized that I'd gotten that one.
Yeah, he really does look very smug. I can attest to that. But I am filled with admiration for your clue finding. So top marks there, Rob. You choose next.
All right, well, let's just take it left to right. Now that we've got a long across, let's get some downs. So one down is pointer, 5 letters starting with A.
So it could be aimer, but that doesn't quite sound right somehow.
It could also be a pointer, like sort of advice or something like that.
Yeah.
Well, let's come back.
Yeah.
Get it eventually. Want to try a island nation southeast of India? That's a problem because that would... Oh, no, that's 7 across. Pardon me. Well, let's just do that anyway. 3 letters, 5 letters, island nation south of India.
I think we can probably crack that one, can't we?
I think we could crack that one.
Sri Lanka.
Yeah.
I was about to say, if the equator doesn't pass through it, I haven't got a hope.
I think the equator does pass through it, or just south of it.
I don't think that was on the list, actually. No.
Well, the equator, I know the equator passes just south of Singapore, and I believe that Sri Lanka is north of that.
Right.
but I don't think it's too far off. Anyway, something for cartographers to confirm for us via our Twitter handle, which I will now share with the audience, at 2acrosspod.
Good plugging.
Seamless plugging. Okay, so do we want to try? Go ahead.
This gives pointer a third letter of R. So a pointer would be A blank R blank blank. A pointer. It's going to be one of these annoying means a different kind of thing words, isn't it? Why don't we come back to that one? Because I think we can get a third letter on it a little later.
Do you want to go to 2 down?
Yeah.
He's a weakling. Starting with M, it is 8 letters long, and the third letter is, it's 7 letters long, and the third letter is an L. He's a weakling. No question mark.
Yeah.
They could be referring to a historical weakling.
An unquestionable historical weakling. No. Okay, let's swiftly move on. 3 down. Sounded brackets true. 4 letters beginning with R. Third letter
Rang.
N. Yeah. Well done. Oh. If we can get 9 across, that would help both with our pointer and our weakling. So 9 across, the clue is irritating buzzer, ? 4 letters. An irritating buzzer. No.
Question for you.
Go on.
On the pointer, A space R space space, are any dogs pointers? Are there any breeds of dogs that are?
I was thinking that actually, that there is a dog that's a pointer, but I think it is just called a pointer. I don't know if it's like an Irish pointer or a something pointer. But I don't know that there's a canine word that fits that.
Okay. All right, let's forget that. The irritating buzzer, let's move on. I think we're getting hung up on those where maybe we should try and pursue openings and then maybe we can come back up to it.
Okay.
So maybe 4 down could give us a shot. A time for 11s, which is, you got it? It's 3 space 5 space, 3 space 3 5, T space A, and then 5 letters.
Tea break.
Does one have a tea break at 11 o'clock? Is that it?
Absolutely. I actually have a coffee break at 11 o'clock. I tend to drink gallons of coffee in the morning and then switch to tea afternoon. But
as like a come down, it's the sort of way that like partiers used to do barbiturates, and then they do sort of Valium later to help bring them down.
It is exactly like that, and just as rock and roll.
Enough. Every day. As you theater journalize on a caffeine high.
Live fast, die young. That's my motto. Live fast, drink lots of coffee. I went to a wedding at the weekend, as you know, and I noticed towards the end of the evening there was some joint smoking. Just referencing back to our discussion, I think the episode before last, of the increasing ubiquity of the joint. But I thought that was quite interesting.
When the kids are away, the spliffs will
play. Yeah.
Will play, yeah.
And I've been informed that the younger generation are using that increasingly as a form of enjoyment because it's much cheaper than alcohol. So, yeah.
And seemingly consequenceless, although.
Yes, I think my respiratory doctor wife would certainly dispute that.
Shall we try 5 down here? We got a young bird of prey. Oh, okay, yeah. O, and then 4 letters. So
Young bird of prey. Go on.
I think that would be the young of the owl.
An owlet? Okay. Like a towlet.
I think so. A moist owlet.
I'm not sure I would want to mop up something with a moist owlet. That sounds...
I think you could get your arm roundly taloned if you tried to do that. But
yes, that could go horribly wrong.
The ill-tempered moist owlet.
I think the RSPCA would soon become involved. As we have them over here. I'm not sure what your equivalent in Canada is to the RSPCA.
I think, we have that as well. I don't know if it's the RSPCA. It might be. We like our royal. We're not opposed to our royal.
It's been a big week for royal news.
Yeah, we'll have to debrief
we will.
All of it. Both of us being, huge royalists.
Ardent monarchists.
Ardent monarchists, yes. So, vichyssoise vegetable starts with L. Now, a vichyssoise is a soup, is it not?
Tell me, Rob.
I think could be a leek because it's a 4-letter vegetable starting in L. Do we know many of those?
No, but that is a very Guardian way to describe a leek.
It is, eh?
It's a vichyssoise vegetable. So let's pen that. Let's heavy pen it.
Okay. Yeah. Hopefully it's not another one of these my personal howlers, which I seem to have per episode of confidently putting wrong clues. We'll see. That would make 6 down would be average. Dash means 6 letters, second letter A.
Average dash means. What are the types of average? I always forget. There's the median.
Well, mean and median, but they're not the same. Median is not technically the average. It's just the middle number of a set.
Median would fit, but...
Ooh, you know what? We can get a letter for really cheap. Really, really cheap. It is a 7-letter word, space R, space T, and then 3 spaces, and it is the B of GB. So I think we could leave that to users' imagination.
Broken. It's broken.
It's broken.
Broken Britain.
Yeah. Great broken island nation.
So again, median still fits, but does that fit the clue?
It could, and then leek, I guess, because leek is 2 E's, right?
Mm.
Well, maybe it is median, and here I am being a statistics snob. Well, here's the question for you, Theo. 12 across, I think we're going to get, which is the foreign policy of ancient Rome. And that would be 11 letters long, with only 1 letter, the 5th last being an A. But isn't there like the Pax Roman something, like the Peace of Rome? Isn't that their foreign policy?
So that would be, but is it all one word?
Well, that's what I don't know. You're right. Ooh, that's.
Is it Pax Romana? Or is that?
Yeah, so that's just not long enough. Okay. I want it to be long enough.
The other thing I'm thinking of is something based on empire building, so some sort of...
Let's come back to it.
Yeah, let's come back to it.
It's too big of a meal for us to chew right now.
It is. That is a chunky bit of meat.
Take us somewhere new and unexpected, Theo. Let's feel we're losing our mojo in this area.
I'm going to take us to China, quite literally, because 11 down, the clue is just China. 8 letters, and
8 letters.
Surely we can take a guess at that if it fits.
Oh, I would imagine it is dishware or something along that line. I don't know.
Well, I was going to say porcelain, but
porcelain. No. I think you're right.
But does that fit? Because isn't porcelain? Does it end LAIN? Or does it just?
It's porcelain.
Yeah. So that doesn't fit. Oh dear, Rob.
Okay, well let's just try and find something that we can grab. We need another easy one like Britain.
We need low-hanging fruit. This is what we need. We need some nice plums.
16 across, slide in brackets, out of control, 4 letters. Could that be a skid?
Oh yeah, well done.
And then 17 down is number between 0 and 9. Oh dear, then maybe skid's wrong. Because it would have to start with D.
So that could be 7, couldn't it?
What other numbers are 5 letters long? 3 is as well.
3. But why between 0 and 9? That's a weird...
Well, the midpoint between 0 and 9 would be, what, 5?
Yeah.
5 or 4, it's actually would be 4.5.
So let's assume it's 3 or 7 or 8. It could be 8.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Thanks, Guardian. Well, what about, let's see if 21 across, which is very long, they just give us, here you go, Theo, this is for you. 10 letters, 1 will create drama.
Oh. Playwright? With the correct
that
spelling?
Looks like it would fit.
Yeah.
So playwright, W-R-I-G-H-T?
Indeed. Like a wheelwright.
Like a wheelwright. But then our number would end in T. 7, 8, and 3 wouldn't work.
8 would work.
Oh, 8 would work. Thank you. It would work. Okay. Do we want to do this?
I think we want to do this. I think we have to do this because we're now 13 and a half minutes out.
Oh, crap. Okay. Twilight Hours, I think this confirms our hypothesis. It is 8 letters. Second last letter is a G. Twilight Hour. I mean, would it be midnight? Because the middle of the night are the twilight hours? Oh, it doesn't fit.
No. So it's the dusk, the evening. Does that fit? No.
Oh yeah. Oh, because it's twilight, right? Evenings, because it's plural. Yeah, good job, Theo.
But does evenings?
Yeah, for sure. Because look, 18 down, space E, space R, and it's rip, which would seem to prove our hypothesis. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then look, 13 down, it's got an I space G at the end, and crossword writers love an ing.
Indeed.
So the least idea, I think we're going to have to move. I think this could be an inkling.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's my favorite word of today so far. Inkling.
I had an inkling.
Well done.
So slide out of control is space K space E.
Mm.
Don't make no sense.
Oh, God. No, this is
Let's
tough.
Come back to it.
Yeah.
Because, what about 15 down? Defamatory comments in print, 5 letters ending in L. Slander and...
Which would be libel.
Lovely. 19 across. Lazy, unkempt individual is 4 letters ending in B.
I feel I should definitely be able to get this.
Think of Homer Simpson.
Slob.
You got it.
Sorry, Homer.
He doesn't mind. That's his greatest quality.
It's true.
Standards 1 aspires to live by. 12 down is 6 letters. Second last letter is an L.
Ideals.
Oh, yes. I was thinking morals, but I was like, that's not really that good, but ideals is exactly that.
Which gives off foreign policy of ancient Rome a first letter of I.
Oh.
This is where we need the rest is history.
I was going to say Italianization, but it doesn't.
Asian, something Asian is a good.
Yeah, I think so.
That's actually not. Well, that's not mad.
But no, it doesn't. It doesn't fit, unfortunately. What about 6 down though? Now it's got to be median because it's space E space I space N. So do we want to heavy type that in?
Yeah, I think that's
heavy tap.
That's it. Okay, we're under 10 minutes left now.
All right, 11 down is China, and it's 8 letters, and the 3 last letters are an E, a space, and a Y. I mean, cutlery would fit, but that doesn't make sense.
No.
Oh, crockery.
Crockery, yes. I was just thinking, what's the other word for, plates and stuff? That's, yes.
Do you say that to your wife of an evening? Let's get out the crockery. Let's get out the fine crockery tonight.
The crockery.
Throw off course.
Yeah, throw off course. 7 letters. Blank E, blank L, blank C.
Blank E, blank L, blank C, blank.
And we're not going to get any more letters in that, so we just need to come up with a word. Okay, let's press on.
Let's press on. Want to try 9 across? It's our irritating buzzer. 4 letters. I mean, could be a wasp.
Oh, that's a good guess. That's a really good guess.
Because pointer, A space R space space. If it was wasp, it would be a W.
Oh, which pointer could be arrow. Yeah.
So, as 2 wasps, we should have gotten that irritating buzzer much more quickly.
It was right under our noses. Oh, waspy noses.
Our weakling is now M space L space S space space. Historical, oh, he's a weakling. Molesy.
This is frustrating because we're actually pretty close now. Let's keep sort of circulating around. Unless we need to remind our listeners, we are currently tied at 3-all in terms of crosswords completed and crosswords failed.
I know.
So there's a lot hinging on this next 6.5 minutes.
Yeah, I know. This is our potential Waterloo.
This is our charge of the Light Brigade, which was a different battle, I realised, but nevertheless, it feels
all equally heroic.
Equally heroic.
And oft painted.
Right. This slide out of control is annoying me because I can't think of a single word that has a K as the second letter and ends in E.
Yeah. Maybe my inkling is wrong.
I think that has to be skid. And I think the number has to be different.
Oh, digit. It could be a digit.
Yes, because that's a single digit. Yes. That's got to be right.
Sweet. Okay.
Well done.
One for us in the column of awesomeness.
So we now have 3 left to get, and they're all real bastards.
Let us refresh our listeners so they can get them at home and realize that we're dum-dums. Throw off course is 7 letters. It is space E, space L, space C, space. Throw off course. And then we have the foreign policy of ancient Rome, which is I, space, 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 R, space, and then what's probably Asian. whatever that is. And then we've got he's a weakling. M space L space S, and then 2 spaces. He's a weakling. Wow. Oh, shoot. I was thinking integration for our Roman thing, but it doesn't fit.
I was thinking, I mean, internation fits, as in international without the AL on the end.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I haven't got any better guesses.
No, I'm gonna say that's about as good as I could find.
Intonation.
Maybe they also interned those that resisted their policy of internation. So
it's probably where we get the word from, international. He says based on no solid knowledge whatsoever. But when has that ever held us back, Rob?
Never.
Oh, this weakling. If intonation is right, then it now ends in T. So it's M/L. Sorry, M blank L blank S blank T.
Male something. Male S space T.
Sot.
Male sat. Male sit. Feel we should be able to get this throws off course as well, or throw off course. Or deflect.
Yes, well done. So we really are now down to weakling.
He's a weakling.
What an appropriate clue to get stuck on at the end.
Oh, completely.
And of course, let's remember that our intonation could well be completely wrong. So it may not necessarily end in a T. But I like the male idea that it's males.
Yeah, but I can't think of anything that fits. It's either male sit, male sat, sut, or sot. So I don't think that works. Okay, admiration we like, and that gives us our M. Sri Lanka, there is no other option. It's the only island nation south of India. So that's the L, so M space L, space S for wasp, from arrow, which I think we're comfortable with. Yeah. So we know it's definitely M space L space S, and then space. And then we've got this potentially T if it's intonation, which I kind of like. I mean, it's your logic has won me over. Let's put it that way. So what do we do with male? How much time we got left, Theo?
Okay, we've got 1 minute, 20 seconds. Gosh. I feel a malsot or something could be an old word for a weakling, but it doesn't. I mean, that is a total shot in the dark.
I think generally when it's a word that you've never heard of before and you're just hoping it fits, it's almost never that. I think before the minute runs, we make a guess. We throw something in here and we cross our fingers.
Absolutely. We're agonizingly close. This is the second week in a row we've got really close to the finish line, and we're just getting caught out by a couple of words.
Couple of nasty ones.
I think male sot is our guess, unless in the next 20 seconds we can come up with something better between us.
Well, he's a sot, which is a drunkard, isn't it? So he's
a male sot.
Man. Yeah, he's succumbed to the weakness of drinking.
If it's male sot, if it is male sot, I think we owe all of our listeners a drink. We are now done. The time has gone. So,
oh man,
who knows, Rob? I don't know which sound effect we need to play because we need to reveal whether male sot is a word. And if it is
a word,
it's drinks all round. Here we go.
I can't bear to do it. You have to do it. I don't have the intestinal fortitude to face.
Okay, brace yourself. Here we go. It is Oh my God!
What?
This is annoying, Rob. It's a milksop. No.
It's a what?
It's a milksop.
Oh, a milksop. God.
And the Roman word,
Don't guess Roman yet.
No, but it only changes one letter. It only changes one letter. We were one letter out. It's impernition. If that's correct. No, it isn't. Of course, that's not correct. It's imperialism, Rob.
Oh my God.
We are such idiots.
We are not releasing, and it's medium for average.
Yeah. Although that doesn't change that clue.
No, but we got 3 wrong, so it's a milksop, not a male sot. It is imperialism, not internation. Internation was really nice, though. You get full marks for creativity. And then, of course, average means, I think we suffered from groupthink on that one because it's medium.
We did.
Like means, the means by which you do something, like the medium is the message.
This whole podcast is just a fascinating experiment in groupthink and the ability of people just to go along with something because they want to believe their friend. They want to.
So badly.
I made such a good case for intonation.
I was 100% on board with that.
Oh, Rob, that's a heartbreaker.
And you even had an etymological justification.
Yeah,
that this is the root word of international, and so because we took the Latin words and then we added some filigree and other we dressed them up a little bit. So we added an al to internation. For the Romans, it was enough to bring the nations inside of the Pax Romanicum.
Yeah. Oh, that was embarrassing again. Every week we subject ourselves to intellectual embarrassment in public, which I think is admirable, to go back to our first clue today, in some ways, that we are willing to put ourselves out there as the idiots that we are. Intonation, Rob. That's gonna haunt me all week.
Damn tarnation.
Of course it's imperialism.
As my good friend Tim would say, I shake my fist thusly.
Oh, but we did get everything else right.
You know what? So in the interim between when the last 2 podcasts were recorded, Theo shared a article somewhere about dad casting, which is potentially what we're in the process of doing on a weekly basis. But here's the thing that maybe differentiates our platform from the other dadcasts. I mean, the other dadcasts that were cited in the article were people who had had success in some sphere. Either they were an MP or something, or a football player, or whatever, and then this is their sort of in the sunset, like just do a podcast. Lots of people are going to listen because you got a notable brand or whatever, right? But your whole thing is about kind of putting yourself out there, and you're already known to be great and wonderful, and people just want to listen to you. Whereas we are basically putting out that we're idiots, providing little justification for anyone actually to take us in any way seriously. Yeah. So we're like the anti-dad cast.
Well said, Rob. Well said.
And in the way that only white men can appropriate their opposite.
Maybe that's our new Twitter bio, the anti-dad cast. Actually, on that note, do you have any podcast recommendations for the week?
Oh, do I have any podcast recommendations for the week? So, have I mentioned Past, Present, Future on this podcast?
I don't think you have.
So it's a fellow named David Runciman, who is a political scientist and historian, I believe, from Cambridge. He is incredibly well-spoken. And he does I think it's largely a weekly podcast. And it's sort of history. It's a little bit of politics, a lot of intellectual history as well. He did a whole series last year on the history of the great essays. So starting from Montaigne and through some modern essayists, Ta-Nehisi Coates, James Baldwin, I was going to say Gertrude Stein, but no, Virginia Woolf, sorry. And he explores the ideas in a great essay and why that essay was really sort of maybe foundational to our thought these days as a culture. So I found that series particularly interesting. But his podcast really good, very well spoken, very interesting subjects. So past, present, future.
Good rec. Thanks, Rob. Although he clearly has not done an episode on Roman imperialism. Otherwise,
if he has, I haven't listened to it.
Yeah, well, there you go. Yeah. Should we check out for the week? What's your schedule like?
So I'm in Kathmandu, and I've been here. So I'm working on a project that's about 75 kilometers north of here. But that doesn't stop it from being about 4.5 hours to get to by car. Nepal being a very mountainous country. So I arrived last week. I made a really quick jaunt up to site for some exhausting meetings and such, and then came back for my sins the next day. But I'm heading back up there on Friday for maybe the better part of 6 days. And then coming back here for a few days. Got about 2 more weeks here.
So you'll be out there for Super Bowl Sunday?
I'll be out here for Super Bowl Sunday, and much to my position stated in the last episode, will not be watching it. In fact, a friend of mine who listens to the podcast sent me a text after listening to the last episode saying, football sucks. And I appreciate that small affirmation.
Can't disagree with that. I don't have quite such exciting adventures ahead of me, although we do have the spectre of half term on the horizon. So we're thinking of things to do. I don't think we're going to go very far afield this half term, but we may venture off to the coast somewhere, or perhaps get on the Eurostar, go over to Paris. I don't know. We'll see. But yes, we're trying to make up our minds on that. Otherwise, just sort of carrying on, and all that good stuff. Going to a couple of plays, and yeah,
nice.
Keeping
anything you're looking forward to, or maybe journalistic.
I'm seeing a play next week starring Felicity Huffman of Desperate Housewives fame, who's come over to the London Fringe to be in a play called Her, H-I-R, which is all about the sort of topic of gender and gender fluidity. And I don't quite know exactly what happens, obviously, because I haven't seen it, but it certainly sounds quite hot button, as they say, and I'm looking forward to seeing her on stage. So that should be cool. And then I'm taking my daughter tomorrow to a play called The Boy at the Back of the Class, which is adapted from a book that she's a big fan of. So that should be interesting, but probably in very different ways.
Nice.
So yeah, mixing it up.
Will that be both work and pleasure, or only pleasure?
No, both work and pleasure. So I'm reviewing both of those. Which is always interesting, actually, taking my daughter to reviews, because we often come out with very different interpretations of what we've seen, and especially if obviously if it's a show aimed at her age group, then I take her views very seriously. So yeah, we'll see how this one transpires. Yeah,
interesting. Does she get to review the copy of your review before you submit it?
She often complains about my analysis, but usually focuses that around the star rating. So she'll accost me in the morning and say, I can't believe you've only given that 3. It was definitely a 5, or sometimes vice versa, but that's more rare, which makes me feel just like the miserable, grumpy, middle-aged man that I am. But nevertheless, as I say, it's good. It's good to have a fresh pair of eyes with you to give you an alternative view. So yeah, so we'll see. And we should try and record another one before you set off back to Montreal, so we can hear about your Napoleon adventures.
Check this space for the next drop.
Keep checking it. And we realise we're slightly inconsistent with our frequency of episodes, but that is largely my fault, because I actually forgot the last time we were due to record, and so I hold my hands up. I know, total shame. The hat of ignominy is mine this week.
It is. I'm going to be shipping it express post from Nepal. You'll be receiving it in 2 days' time in a burlap sack.
I look forward to it. I doubt it will get here that soon with our Royal Mail being in the state it's in, but I wish you well with the effort. Anyway, nice to see you, Rob, and we'll catch up next time. Bye-bye.
Talk to you next time.
You were listening to Two Across with me, Theo Bosanquet, and Rob Cole in Nepal, and our music is by Enthusiasts, so don't forget to check them out on Spotify, and do join us next time. Bye-bye.